to MTN. On Commodity Watch, oil palm prices rise after Indonesia threatened to ban export of the product. Plus, oil prices fall this Thursday as more sanctions are imposed on Russia. This is Business Express on a network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, and we're reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Leah Cotton Babatunde. You're welcome. The Federal Executive has approved the 2022 revised national energy policy for the country. This is to enable Nigeria to explore all energy mix towards improving generation and supply of energy for sustainable growth and development of the economy. Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, announced these at a media briefing on Wednesday after the meeting of the council presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Believe that by effectively utilizing our energy resources, we'll be in a position to improve on energy supply in our country. We have to plan our economy around the energy resources available to Nigeria.
The third approval is a contract to also design, construction and installation of 260-kilometer transmission line from Birnin Kebbi through Zuru to Yauri in the Kebbi State. The cost of $25.8 million, and the onshore is 10.2 billion naira.
The Federation Account Allocation Committee (FAC) has shared a total sum of 725.571 billion naira March 2022 Federation account revenue to the federal government, state and local government councils. Henshaw Ogubike, Director Information, Press and Public Relations Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, in a statement affirmed this was contained in a communique issued at the end of a virtual meeting of the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee for April 2022. The 725.571 billion naira total distributable revenue comprised distributable statutory revenue of 521.169 billion naira and distributable value-added tax revenue of 204.4 billion naira. Current balance in the excess crude account now stands at $35.372 million. And in the month under review, petroleum profit tax, oil and gas royalties, import and excise duties, company income tax, and value-added tax all recorded tremendous increases. Now, a two-day national conference on non-oil export in Abuja ended on Wednesday, with stakeholders charting a way forward to diversify the country's economy with the aim of increasing exports and reducing imports. We'll be looking at deliberations and takeaways from that conference and the way forward for scaling up exports. We have in the studio the Executive Director and the CEO of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Dr. Ezra Yakusak. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Okay, we also have virtually joining us from Lagos, John Odeagbala, President of Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning to you. So we'll start off this conversation actually from Abuja. Statistics show that Nigeria is more of an importing country than an exporting one. Can you give us a breakdown of that?
Yeah, that's a statement of fact that Nigeria is more of an importing country than an exporting one. The facts speaks for themselves. What lawyers will say, res ipsa loquitur. Because if you look at the statistics, you will realize that export for 2021 export volume or value stood at about 3.6 billion US dollars, while the import, of course, was 22 billion dollars. You can see that there's a huge gap. The gap is huge in terms of trade balance, and it's tilted in favor of import as against export. And that's what we are doing to bridge that gap. And there are so many reasons that lead to that. First and foremost is the fact that Nigeria has not been able to harness its vast potential in non-oil export sector to tilt the balance of trade in favor of export. And secondly, the country has a low capacity to process agro-allied products, and of course, low packaging and many other issues that has led to that. But that is why we launch out our campaign called Export for Survival. The idea was to tilt the balance of trade, in favor of Nigeria in terms of export-import.
Okay, so how right is it for Nigeria to get it? How critical is it for Nigeria to get it right in terms of export? You mentioned already the agro processing and allied products. Can you bring us up to speed on that?
Now, there must be a deliberate and sustained effort to assist the SMEs. That's very, very key, because the SMEs, they are the drivers of the economy of Nigeria. They may be in small trenches, but they are actually the drivers of this economy. And so there should be a deliberate effort to ensure that those SMEs are actually strengthened. And of course, there's need for more incentives, because considering what is happening in the country in terms of infrastructural deficiency, there is need for incentive to cushion the effect of doing business in Nigeria. Last year, the federal government, in its wisdom, under the Economic Sustainability Program, gave NEPC a grant which was well managed, and a 50 billion naira grant which was to cushion the effect of COVID-19. And that grant also went mostly to SMEs. And the impact of that grant was just enormous, because SMEs picked up. People that were going down, that were going bankrupt, they picked up, and that restored a lot of jobs, and that also generated employment. And also there's need for political will, if we're going to get it right, the political will to ensure that a deliberate effort is made to turn, in favor of export as against import.
Okay. I would also move on to ask. Now you've identified some of these questions, but I would want you to speak to us about the practical steps being taken to improve this situation.
Now, one of the practical steps we are taking to improve the situation is, let me give an example, what we are doing in NEPC. We realize that the SMEs, because of the fact that they are just most of them are startup, and of course the capital inflow is low. So, and one of the things in export is the fact that you must get basic certification to penetrate the foreign market. Export is not about, it's not a local market where you just take your goods and people pick them up. No, there are standards to be made. So we realized that there was a gap in that, and so we intervened. That's one of the practical thing we did in NEPC. We intervened by inviting various SMEs to apply for certification. And so we paid for their certification, and they were really certified. And we gave about 36 SMEs certificates. You may say 36 is a small number, but if you know the cost involved, you know it's not small, because some of these certifications cost as much as 1.5 million naira, 2 million naira per certification. And the kind of certification we're talking about is the HACCP, that's Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points, Halal, Kosher, FDA, Fair Trade, and there are so many of them. So these are one of the practical ways we are doing to cushion the effect. Another step we've taken is to curb logistic constraint, especially at the ports. You know what's happening at the ports. It is said that for you to export, to China, a distance of about 22,000 kilometers, you pay only like $3,500 per 40-foot container. But the same 40-foot container would cost you about $4,000 to take it from the port to mainline in Lagos. That's because of the port congestion. So the NEPC brought up a program called Domestic Export Warehouse. The essence of that program is to get the warehouse, and we've identified about 9 of them. We've approved about 9 of them across the country. The essence is to identify a warehouse where it's a one-stop facility where all agencies that engage in pre-shipment inspection, they will go there and inspect the goods. And of course, once it is inspected, agencies like custom, like the quarantine service, and many other agencies, once the goods are inspected, they'll be loaded and sealed in a vehicle, a truck. And once that is sealed, it is going straight to the port for export. And we're doing that in conjunction with the Nigerian Ports Authority under the ETO call-up system. And that's what we're doing. The idea is to ensure that we'll do everything to ensure that Nigerian goods are exported seamlessly, especially in light of the African Continental Free Trade Area. We need to leverage on that.
Okay, so the summit has come and gone. Can you give us a summary of the gains?
The gains are enormous. I must confess and I must tell you that I want to take this opportunity to thank NTA. They were there and they covered the summit extensively from day one to the end of it. I saw your correspondence. That was very good. Thank you very much, NTA. Now, having said that, the summit was very, very, very beneficial because, see, by the way, that was the first summit we've ever had as a council. We just felt the need to bring people together. The practitioners in the non-oil sector, bring them together, let them discuss their issues. And like it's usually said, you can't shave a man in his absence. So it's only fair that we brought the people, the people that are involved to discuss and tell us our problems. Mm-hmm. We are not a regulatory agency. We are a promoting agency. So we'll do everything to ensure that our goods are promoted. And so from the discussions, problems, challenges, bedeviling the non-oil sector were brought up, and about over a 20-point communique was issued, and we are willing to ensure that every point of that communique is implemented, and by doing that, the non-oil export sector will be totally transformed.
Okay, I understand we have Mr. John in Lagos now. Sorry, we briefly lost you there. So if you can hear me, the IMF says the Ukrainian war is an opportunity for Latin America and others to increase exports. Then what lessons are there for Nigeria?
Well, thank you so much. Let me go through how we started by the position of our exports vis-a-vis imports. This is an opportunity for us to increase exports. But what are our main exports products? For now, it's crude oil, and we have opportunity of increasing more earnings. But unfortunately, the production is not there. Even then, the earnings we are getting, because of the fuel import, we are not going to benefit much. Because you are aware that out of the budget this year, the subsidy is going to take us 4 trillion. So leaving us only with 3 trillion which is to fund the capital project. So, well, it is an opportunity, but the only product that we say that we export more is crude. From yesterday's export for survival, all our export figures have gone up. Yes, we can take advantage of cashew nuts, cocoa, and all this that we say. But then, at the end of the day, the benefits does not come back to us because of the imports of petroleum products, kerosene, motor spirits, and gas oil. In 2021, this accounted for 26.75% of the total imports in Nigeria. So even if we are going to increase and earn more revenues as a result of the Russian-Ukrainian war, it is still going to be consumed by this fuel importation. So we are not going to gain much from that. This is the fact.
Okay, if I may come in here, how critical is it for industry players like you in the country and of course policymakers to get our acts right?
Well, getting our acts right, I don't know who did this to us. Let me just go a little bit. I don't know. Croatia, part of their export, 6% of their export is refined fuel. And that is what Croatia exports. And we have 4 refineries that could have been producing for us to refine, not even consume. So when we look at this matter, for me in the industry, it is, we are going down, we are finished. Because how can we produce with 700 naira diesel? And not to even talk about the African continental free trade that has come in. How are we going to compete? So what I'm trying to say is that I don't know how to address this problem because it is now consuming everybody in the country.
Okay,
Your question?
if I may interrupt you there, when you say we are finished, it gives a picture of gloom, and I wouldn't know if we're actually finished since we're trying to get our products and services out there, and we've seen some efforts, of course, not just on the government side, but on business people like you as well. Now, Indonesia has thrown in a concern that they are banning export of oil palm. Is that an opportunity for Nigeria to get it right?
Yes, it is an opportunity, but oil palm takes a gestation period. I am also involved in it. I produce vegetable oil out of oil palm. If we had started planting, there are states that are favorable to oil palm, but they are not planting. We don't have enough. People are giving waivers to import crude palm oil. So now that Indonesia says, okay, we are not going to export, it's not going to help us because most of our refineries, like people that just have young palm, cannot have enough. But it is an opportunity for the backward integration for us to plant more. But what I'm saying that we are finished, I don't want to be an apostle of doom, but at times we should face the realities on ground to see how we can come up. I am a practical operator. Yesterday in the export NEPC program, I diverted a lot and said, okay, fine. Why can't we export labor too? Why can't a Ministry of Education liaise with NEPC so that most of our teaming youths are trained in welding and the semi-skilled labor, which we are now lacking in the country? How do we do that? All the vocational schools are no longer on. For us to achieve that, I made it clear, we have to go to industries that have workshop and find a way to get them to absorb these young people, train them, and then a mode of certification, like the NEPC director has said, will be introduced and assessed. The same product, the same thing I'm saying, was done by Bangladesh, supervised by German GIZ. And 2 years ago, they exported 2,000 youths to Saudi Arabia. It is on record. These things are not rocket science. When the president in the executive order, is it 5 or 7, said this, it was well said. But then the execution, is anybody listening? That is the problem.
Okay, thank you, Mr. John Odiagbala there in Lagos. That's much we can take from our Lagos end. Thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you very so much. Thank you.
Okay, do have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we return to the studio now. Before I let you go, you heard Mr. Odiagbala there with a whole lot. But then, do you agree we're finished?
We're not finished. We're not finished. We can never give up. We don't give up because there's light down the tunnel. If we've not gotten it right, this is the time to get it right. A Chinese proverb said the best time to plant a tree was a bamboo was about 20 years, but the right time to plant it was about 20 years. But an opportunity will come where you plant that same tree. We can't just say because things were not done right and we'll go there and paint a picture of gloom. There is hope for us. Let me just make mention of what he said about the oil palm, which is part of the things he said was very true. Indonesia banned export of palm oil because the cost was getting high from last year, and they tried everything to ensure that the cost is lowered, and it wasn't possible. By the way, a liter of palm oil in Indonesia costs about 20,000 rupiah. I mean, that's their currency, which is equivalent to about $1.39. And if you see the statistics, a liter of palm oil in Nigeria is also it's about 500 to 750 naira per liter. Now, just opposite to a liter of fuel in Nigeria, which about 167 naira. Even if it was 170, you can't. You realize that there's a gold mine in palm oil which we need to harness. There's a gold mine. If a liter of fuel is 167 naira, and a liter of palm oil is 500 to about 750 naira, depending on where.
I hear 700 at the background.
Good, yeah, 700, yeah, 700. I mean, naira. It simply means that we need to shift. We need to shift our attention to something else. And that's why we're talking about non-oil export. Now, if we can scale up production, like he said, yeah, we may have lost an opportunity, but the time is now. Once we scale up production in the palm oil sector, I'm telling you, with time, we will need that oil.
Okay. I must sincerely thank you, Dr. Egza, for making time to come on the program.
Thank you very much.
I wish you well as well.
Thank you.
Okay. So we move straight up to surviving COVID-19, sponsored by the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
I'm a fashion designer. I'm sewing new clothes. We adjust. And secondly, I'm selling material and sew and sell. Like this one now, we are selling it. If I sew it like this now, formerly we sell it up to 15,000. But due to the economic now, so people come and price it 10,000, 8,000. That's where we face economic challenge. Let's say I'm getting to 25 years in this business. I start my journey with this fashion designer from Benin City. That's where I learned work before I moved to Abuja. Before COVID-19, everything just manageable. That period is our neighbor who are civil servants assist us. For that time, no movement, no any business. Only our neighbor who are civil servants, when they receive salary, they assist us at home. That's where we beat up. After the lockdown, we start the business gradually, whatever we come. If God sends somebody to us, like especially as this guy now, we still manage to feed our family. But it's not easy. We are still finding it difficult. If government can assist in financial way to move our business up. Let's now inside this Ramadan, I'm supposed to be busy. Because I am a Muslim, I'm supposed to get work and busy. 2 children, clothes, elderly own. Now, it's nothing like that. It's just manageable. We had it, we apply. Like to the person we apply to, we just play us. When succeed, to use our name and make the money. So if you are lucky and succeed, I will to boost my business. Like formerly, I'm selling clothes. Like I went to Nisha, Aba, but now I can't move to anywhere. If any customer luckily send any material, you need material, I have a sample. Like all those people who know me from the beginning, I'm selling material, I just go to somewhere else close to me and buy it and sell for them. But now, over 4 years now, I can't move to Aba again or Onisha because no money. I cannot hold 50,000. I start the movie to about say I won't buy material. So if I can get up to that amount, I can start the business again.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
And this is where we end this edition of the program. Don't forget, you can access all previous episodes on YouTube. We value your feedback. So join us again on Friday at 3 p.m. for another package. I'm Leah Katung Babatunde saying God bless Nigeria and to have a wonderful day ahead.